In this demonstration video, I'm going to show you how to print your image after your linoleum block is all carved out, okay, and your ink is ready. So my ink is ready right now, so I got to be quick before this dries. So I'm going to try to explain everything fairly quickly. Okay, so what you need is your linoleum block. You'll need your ink already spread out on your inking plate. You will have a brayer that is covered in ink. That's good. And you'll also need a second brayer that has not been used. Okay, so it should be clean. This one looks kind of dirty, but I think it's just got some paint on it. It's all dry though. Okay, so this one is fine. You'll need some newsprint, and that's like this paper right here. It's paper that you typically get your newspaper on. That's why it's called newsprint. And it's thin and it's good for just practicing drawing and printing on. Okay, and then once you have practiced enough, you'll use regular printmaking paper. Okay, and this is an example of that. So what I need to do first, and I'm just going to move my ink out of frame, is I need to get my linoleum block inked. Okay, when I say inked, that just means you have ink over everywhere and it's the value that I want it to be. That's what you do. Okay, so I might roll some more ink onto my brayer because it looks like it's drying a bit. Okay, and now I'm going to spread it onto my linoleum block with the brayer. So I can tell already that my ink has dried in the time that I've just explained to you what you need. So that just means that I need to roll out some more ink. Hopefully I'll be quick about this so it doesn't dry out between the time we print. This water-based ink kind of dries out fairly quick, so you need to be quick about your printing. Don't take forever like I am. Oh, that works so much better. So if you can see right here on this corner, let me turn this. Okay, I have not got ink right there. You want it to be the same amount of darkness across the whole thing. Okay, and I'm just going to go over everything one more time because I'm taking forever. Okay, now I'm going to grab my newsprint. This is just my practice one. I'm going to flip this over onto the newsprint, and it doesn't matter how you do it on here because it's just for practice. Okay, and then I'm going to use my brayer, my clean brayer, to apply even pressure. Okay, sometimes I like to flip this over and do it on this side as well, just because sometimes it'll get some of the pockets that the back side doesn't. And then just for good measure, I could use my fingers and just rub. Okay, if you don't have access to a brayer, you can just do this with your hands like I am right now. Sometimes it actually works better. Okay, after you have done rubbing and you think it's ready to be pulled off, you're going to grab one corner of the paper and pull it off. So when I look at this print is pretty good actually. I'm surprised it turned out this well. So there are a couple spots that are white, and everything that I carved turned out pretty well. Sometimes if you don't carve deep enough, you'll get lines in the white area, and that just means you need to go back and carve again. So say if there was a line, let me grab my pencil. Say if there was a line like right here with ink. I would have to go back with my gouge and carve that out in here if I didn't want to see that. Okay, so I think I'm going to practice one more to see if I can get the same results, and then if I'm ready, I'll actually start printing. Okay, And again, my ink has dried out, I'm pretty sure. Let's see. Yeah, that ink is pretty much dry. It's drying super fast. I wonder if it's the type of ink. But I'm just gonna roll out some more ink. You might do this with a partner if you're kind of nervous about printing. If you think you could do this by yourself, just go ahead and do it by yourself. But if you're nervous, it's always good to work with somebody. I've gotten my table a few times with the ink. Okay, that's probably good. So I'm going to put it back on that newsprint. I'm going to grab my clean brayer and roll on the back, applying even pressure. I'm going to flip my paper over, and this is just what I like to do. You do not have to do this. And I'm going to apply even pressure on the front. Okay, just for good measure, I like to do it with my fingers as well, or the palm of my hand. My print is fairly small, so using my palm won't be very good. Okay, now I think I'm ready. So now that one turned out pretty good too. And for some reason, the ink is all just kind of coming off of this. Usually whenever you print, you'll have some ink left over, like this one. Okay, it's made of the same material, and you can still see the ink, this black ink that was left on the linoleum. This linoleum is kind of acting strange. I don't know if yours will do that or not. So I think I'm actually ready for my real print. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a piece of newsprint right here because I got ink on the table. If your table is dirty, I will clean it off. I just don't want to have to spend the extra time to clean it. Okay, and if your hands are dirty, like mine are kind of dirty, my fingertips are, I will wash your hands before this one. This is when having a partner will come in handy. You know, actually I'm going to do that later. Okay, first I'm going to put ink on this. So hopefully it hasn't dried. Let's see. So it looks like my ink's okay. But it is starting to dry a little bit, so I need to be quick about this one. Okay, that's probably good. I'm going to put this newsprint over this. The back of my paper isn't really dirty. Okay, and then I got my piece of printing paper. Okay. When you do your final print, when you do one of these, okay, you want to get this in the dead center. That's why you want to have your fingers clean, because touching this and getting your fingers all over this is going to stain your paper where you don't want it to be stained. So I kind of like eyeball it and then just drop it very lightly onto my paper. Okay. So it's pretty close to being center. We'll see whenever we finish printing. Okay, and then you're going to take your brayer very carefully this time and apply even pressure. Flip it over just like our other one. Now this print might be different than my others. This paper is different than the newsprint, so it might pick up the ink differently. We'll see. Okay, I think I'm ready. so there's my print. This one's alright, but I don't really like the edges of it. If you don't like how the print turns out, you can always just keep at it until you get one that you like, okay? If you can't get one that you like in, like, let's say the first 3 or 4 tries on this printmaking paper, I would suggest that you go back to the newsprint and keep practicing. Okay, you're just wasting paper by that time, because what's going to happen is the ones you don't like are going to end up in the trash. Printmakers in their actual own studios, sometimes they have people who just do the printing for them, okay? And they can make hundreds of these prints, okay? They do probably, I don't know, I would say at least 5 test prints for every one print that turns out, okay? But this is definitely a skill, okay? It's really hard to get, so don't think you're going to get it in the first try. Sometimes it happens with people, but most of the time you don't get what you like in the first try, okay? So this video showed you how to ink a piece of linoleum, how to how to practice printing on newsprint, and then how to line up your print or your piece of linoleum onto your printmaking paper so that everything is center. Okay. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to addition your print, and then I'll also show you some more examples of this. Hopefully this one will, the ones that I make in a little bit will be better than this. Okay. Good luck printing. Hope everything turns out right.